Hello and welcome to Friday's episode of this week's Quick Tips. Today, as we mentioned yesterday, we are going to be talking about PropTech. Is there too much? Do we have a magpie syndrome in this industry? And just how much is it affecting our profitability by just increasing our cost line? And I know this is something that you feel really, really passionately about, Ian. I am probably one of those magpies. I love a new bit of software. How do you keep your business and your teams focused on the prop tech that they actually need?
It's hard, isn't it? Because we all want everything all the time. You know, we want to have the whole suite of opportunity, the whole suite of weapons to go into the marketplace with. But the reality is that we don't need it, and because we're such a fiercely competitive industry, with so many agents looking to try and stand out from the crowd, but we have a real struggle to build our identity through personality as a brand, as individuals, as companies. What we do is we try and find the silver bullet through prop tech and services and subscriptions, so that we can use that as a USP to say we have X and this is how we work, rather than saying we are Y and this is who we are. So that's the kind of the message that I'm passionate about. I'd use Rightmove as an example.
I know what you're going to say them.
Most of us have Rightmove, right? Over 90% of the industry has Rightmove.
Yeah.
So how do you use Rightmove and what do you pay Rightmove? Rightmove is expensive. If you look at it on your P&L sheet, it's one of the highest costs. In terms of the results that it brings, you could argue that it's a very efficient subscription because of what it does for our business. But it's your choice whether you use all of their shiny little sweets on the shelf or not. So do you have the valuation alerts? Do you have the featured properties? Do you have the property listing? Do you have the email alerts? Do you have the little fancy banner that no one reads down the bottom when people are trying to fill their criteria and hit search and don't even notice that banner? I promise you they don't. Do you have all of those little extra bits? And therefore, is your Rightmove bill 2 times or 3 times what it needs to be? That's a really prime example of kind of the magpie prop techy type thing. And I know Rightmove, you could argue, is not prop tech, but you know, in a roundabout way, it's saying this is the baseline of what I need, this is what I pay for. The bit in the middle is the problem for the profit, effectively.
It might not be considered prop tech, but it's a really good demonstration of the habit of agents wanting something so that their competitors don't as well. I think there's a lot of that on Rightmove. Well, we've got to take it so and so down the road doesn't take it, and that is where I think we struggle as an industry. And it's an easier thing to say, "Oh, we'll pay Rightmove for those results," rather than think ourselves about a way that we can be different and how that we can push our brand so that we get those results. And I think that's one of the big problems with that. But we're all approached, and there's the age-old thing, oh, it's just one sale, isn't it? It'll pay for the whole year. But how many one sales are you sucking up in costs for services that you don't use? And how often are you reviewing the P&L, looking at those costs that you don't use? And do you know when those subscriptions expire? Do you know when they auto renew? And do you know that you absolutely can't get it cheaper as well? We might upset a few suppliers today, I'm afraid. But the whole point is we're in this talking today specifically about profit, and every penny that you pay on prop tech, if you're a business owner, it could be profit in your pocket. And that needs to be the laser beam focus when you're looking at new shiny stuff.
Yeah, I think prop tech should speed up an agent's day.
Yeah.
So effectively, the prop tech industry should be able to supply us with a service, a piece of tech that allows us to operate faster in the areas that are not necessarily client communication phase, so that we can spend more time doing the bit that we need to do, doing the phone call, the WhatsApp, the information stuff, the marketing campaign. That's what PropTech should do. So, for example, this is a bit of PropTech that's quite common out there is when people are talking about lead gen, well, you've got your CRM. And then from a lead gen point of view, a lot of people also use some sort of digital canvassing or separate lead gen CRM outside of their CRM. For me, that's the most bonkers thing that I've ever heard, is that you've got your CRM and then you've got another CRM for leads. And so you're doubling up all the time. I mean, that is the ultimate like time killer in the world we live in. No, there's a CRM. That's the CRM. If it sits outside of that and you have to do extra administration or data entry, that should never happen in any industry in 2025. There's zero requirement for that. But a lot of the prop tech stuff is, well, you just add it in there. And like you said, with it's just a sale. If you got a 40 grand a month on average turnover office and your average fee is 4 grand, it's 10% of your turnover. In a lot of cases for estate agents, 10% is the margin of profit. Yeah. So never look at it from a turnover point of view or a sale. Always look at it from the profit element of things, because that little bit of extra prop tech that you just integrated might have just killed your profit for the month, because there is no guarantee that it's going to turn you into a 48 grand office. And even if it did, you're still only level playing. You're still got the same profit, even though you added an extra 20% to your turnover. So, yeah, I'm really passionate about it, as you can tell. I think there's more in the way that the next 24 to 18 months unfold that will benefit the likes of us with the use of AI, because I think that is genuinely a time saver. And the one thing that I've always looked at and I had this conversation with someone on Monday that out of the blue called me, that's gone into PropTech from agency, that had my mobile, was they kind of, the sales pitch, if you like, on the phone was, well, look, we do this, and now we do this, and now we do this, and now we do this. So it's like a full fulfillment suite of PropTech. And I was like, well, which bit are you really, really good at? Well, we're really good at all of it. But which bit's the most recent? Oh, this bit we've just launched this year. So you can't be really good at it because it's only been going a couple of days. So my thing with PropTech is, what is that PropTech? What is that CRM? What is that website? What are they a specialist in? I'll never use a CRM that was a default created CRM because they used to do something else. That's my thing. If you used to be a canvassing platform and now you've made a CRM, it's not for me. You're not a specialist in that. You did something else. It didn't get you as much money as you wanted. You've created something else. Same thing from a website developer. If a CRM now becomes a website developer, I'm not interested. I'll use the website developer. So I'm all about the specifics, really, and the specialisms. That's my kind of thing. Stay in your lane and be really good at X is the way that I like to look at it.
Yeah, and staying in lane and that laser beam focus is really important on this topic, isn't it? I think if you spend time on industry news websites, and it's very easy to see something and get attracted to it that doesn't change and really seriously move the needle in terms of efficiency. And you're right, for PropTech, how much more efficient is it making me? Or, as a lot of these things do, they promise more business. Is it actually gonna bring more business? And I think a big thing, there's a reason PropTech suppliers want to tie you into long and auto-renewing contracts. I think on this point, that is something that we should really be pushing back at. If you've got a really good piece of PropTech, why do you need a 12-month contract? Mm-hmm. We wouldn't make a client sign a 12-month agreement. So why are they doing that? And that would be my advice and pushback. And if they don't want to enter into a rolling contract, then maybe the service isn't really that good.
And I think most PropTech people are, or most of the BDMs and the salespeople are ex-estate agents.
Yeah,
they're quite good at selling.
Yeah. We're the easiest to sell to. I'm terrible. Those people, they're easy to sell to, right? You have to recognize that.
You've got to be aware of it. So, they're setting up this conversation. And often they're more knowledgeable than we are in that particular field, because that's what they're specializing in now. So you're being sold the best case scenario. Do you really need it? And also we spoke about KPIs and profit, on some of these bite-sized episodes already this week, but are you using them? It's one thing that I spoke to Josh Rayner from Rayner Personnel right before we started Avocado, and I said to him, what would be your biggest tip on going into being a business owner? And he said, every single month, just review your costs, and are you really using them at their capacity? If you're not using them at the capacity, are they value for money? If you're not using them at all, just get rid of them. There's a great piece of advice that he gave me, because we've done that every single month. We always review it. So that's something to think about with PropTech. Do you have stuff you're paying for that you don't really use, or do you not use it at his capacity as well?
Really quick, easy wins in today's episode. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about online presence and how to improve your online presence. Easy things. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.